Hello folks, in this one we're looking at some amazing discounts available on brand new cars right now. Some of them might be dependent on you using dealer finance, but don't forget you generally have a little window where you can get out of that and finance the car your own way. Now on some of these you might still be better off doing a lease deal rather than buying them, even with these crazy discounts. And just before we get started, I want to say a big thanks to 𝙇𝙗 for sponsoring today's video. Right, let's have a look at the first one. We're going up in price order here. First one's a little Fiat 500, it's the 1 litre mild hybrid. Should be 18,950. You can get your hands on one of those for 14,595 at the moment. That's a saving of £4,355. We can look at the Citroen C4. This is the 1.2 PureTech U. Euro 6. That 1.2 PureTech's in loads of Stellantis cars. It's got a bad rep because it's got a wet belt. One thing's for certain, you need to really keep on top of the servicing, and you mustn't skip services. You must use the absolute correct oil, stuff like that. If you do that, they're actually pretty good. They're better than the Ford EcoBoost by and large, that's for sure. 16.5 grand for one of these, brand new car. 20 grand, that should be new. And you see, it's a decent sized car. You know, this is not a tiny little city car for that kind of money. Reasonably well spec'd, quite a nice looking interior as well. That looks like a hell of a lot of car for the money, I always think. 16.5 grand for one of those. Next, we've got a 1 litre Skoda Fabia TSI Design Edition, Euro 6, 17,790, which is a saving of almost 4 grand. 56 mpg on that little car and 10.4 seconds to 62. Mazda MX-30. This is a really good deal. Like a really, really good deal. A little bit limited in terms of range, these things, but it's quite a nice sort of robustly built little car. All electric, this one. Very, very well screwed together. Nice interior. Really nice little car to drive, but the range is only 124 miles. So bear that in mind. If you could live with that, perhaps as a second car, or perhaps you live in the middle of London and doing 124 miles would take a lifetime in that traffic, this might be a little shout for you. 28.5 grand that car should be. It's got over 10 grand knocked off it. You can get it for just under 18. Now 28.5 grand, that car looks, you know, drastically overpriced, but at 18, that looks very interesting. You've got to think that's 3 grand more than a Dacia Spring, and it's a lot more luxurious and actually probably a fair bit more practical for some people. 𝐺WM-AURA 03, 126 kilowatt pure plus, £32,790 is the full price of one of these, but you can get one for 20. That's a saving of 12,791 quid. It is a pre-reg car, registered in 2024, 193 miles of range. These cars are very well spec'd, very quirky, as you can see. They've gone for that sort of retro classic kind of look. This one's a first edition. You've got your sat-nav. I think you now get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on them because they've had some updates in recent times. But a really well put together little car that's good fun to drive. It is capable of getting down the road fairly quickly as well. 8.3 seconds to 62, 169 brake horsepower, 193 miles of range. Not a bad shout. Peugeot 208 1.2 PureTech GT petrol manual, 6 grand off one of those. You can get one for £20,490. I think the 208 is the best looking car in its class. What they've failed to do here though is give us a decent exterior shot. There we go. There's a bit of stock footage for one, but they look really cool. I think the 208 is a really great looking car. 0-62 in 10 seconds on one of those, so not a bad shout. Now, if you're thinking about getting yourself a new car, don't just watch videos like this. Do some real research, you know, read about what's coming out, what's happening right now, what's good, what's not so good. And a great place to do that is with a 𝙇𝙗 subscription. 𝙇𝙗's a really great, convenient app that gives you access at your fingertips to thousands of magazines and newspapers from all over the world. I often use 𝙇𝙗 on my iPad, but you can also use it on your mobile phone, desktop, etc. And it's great for travel, especially because, you know, you're not carrying around loads of heavy magazines. Probably a bit better for the environment as well. Now, one of the magazines that I read regularly is Auto Express. Obviously, that's available on 𝙇𝙗. Let's go straight to that. We've got all the latest editions, but you've also got special editions like this, which is Britain's best new cars. And with the iPad here, I just flick through it as I would with any normal magazine and it works and reacts just like a magazine. We've also got the likes of Autocar, Top Gear, etc. And it's not just car content you can use Readly for. Now, this is my own personalised newsagent, if you like, because I've favourited all my favourite magazines. So I've got technology stuff, I've got football stuff, I've got car stuff, I've got music, I've got movies. The quality of all the imagery and the text is absolutely superb. Obviously, you can zoom in on things if you want. It really is a fantastic piece of kit, and there's a special offer for viewers of my channel right now. If you'd like 2 months completely free access to Readly, and you can cancel at any time with no obligation, click the link in the video description or click on this QR code that's appearing on screen, and that will give you instant access to an absolute multitude of great magazines and newspapers from all over the world. Massive thanks to Readly for sponsoring today's video. 𝙼𝙁𝙁𝙄𝙇𝙄𝑉𝙎 is next, and there's bags of cash off one of these. Very good little compact SUV, nicely spec'd as well. This is the FR trim, which is the equivalent of like S-Line in an Audi or R-Line in a VW. Obviously, it is from that same family, the VW group. So you can expect a nice quality car. 1 litre TSI FR limited edition DSG automatic, so lovely gearbox that. £28,870 it should be, but you can get it for £21,146 right now. Brand new unregistered car with delivery mileage on it, 10 miles on the clock at the moment. Performance wise, it's not going to set any records, but 10.3 seconds to 62 is more than adequate in a little car like that. 113 brake horsepower and MPG 50. Not bad, is it? Not bad at all. Now, people always talk about Toyota and Honda when it comes to reliability, but don't forget about Suzuki because they've got a great reliability record as well. The 1.4 booster jet of the Suzuki Vitara here, mild hybrid. So you're not going to have to plug this one in, but it should be nice and frugal for you. Let's have a look at that frugality. We want running costs, don't we? 53 MPG on that one. Now, the interesting bit here is the discount on this, which is over £5,500, which is brilliant on one of these because they're not too badly priced anyway. It's a blue light discount. If you don't know, blue light discount goes to key workers, NHS staff, for example. They basically have to sign up and get their blue light card. And there are several blue light discounts available on new Suzukis at the moment, looking at Auto Trader. So not everyone will be able to get this, but if you qualify for the blue light discount, have a look because, you know, Suzuki makes some really good cars, and that's a really decent discount on a really decent car. 𝙼𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁 1 litre ETSI mild hybrid FR DSG automatic, 6 miles on the clock on this one, and it's got £7,000 knocked off, available for immediate delivery. This car's got a lot going for it. The Leon's a lovely thing. It's a Golf with a different lid on it, and I think it's a really good looking lid. 0-62 in 10.6, 108 brake horsepower. Running costs on that one, 49.6 MPG. And you're saving over £7,000 on that Leon. That should be £29,680. You get it for 22.5. Folks, just a very quick reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Thanks. MG ZS, I'm going to show you 2 of these. This one's the Trophy, 51 kilowatt hour. They're both electric. 198 miles of range. You can get that one for just under £20,000. That's £13,000 saving off the original list price, which was just under 33. Then you've got the Trophy edition, where Trophy and MG means you get everything on it, basically. 72 kilowatt hour version, so you've got the bigger battery. That should be good for 273 miles of range, according to the WLTP cycle. RRP on that car's £36,000, but it's got £13,500 knocked off it, £22,500. There are loads of different colours available on these. See loads of these on the road. They're massively popular, and I don't think that's a bad price for a brand new one. VW Golf. This is the 1.5 TSI match. £23,000 as opposed to 28.5. 8 miles on it, manual petrol car, 0-62 in 9.9 and 51 mpg. We've also got the 2 litre diesel Golf Estate, and this one's in life trim. I love an estate car, as some of you probably know, and I think this is a blooming good one. 10.5 seconds, 0-62 on this one, 113 brake horsepower. 65 mpg is claimed, should be £31,800, down to 23.5. It's a saving of £8,300. That's a really good discount on that car. And I mean, that's a car that should serve you for quite a long time to come. Another electric car is the Peugeot 𝑒2008. This one's 50 kilowatt hour battery. You can save 11.5 grand on this. Should be 35.5. Instead, it's just under 24. Brand new, 212 miles of range and almost 11.5 grand off the asking price. Right, the 𝙼𝙁𝙁𝙄𝙇𝙄𝑼𝙏𝑎𝑐, the look of them is perhaps getting a tiny bit long in the tooth, just because it's been around for a long time. But if you want a mid-size SUV, you can't really ask for anything more. If you're going to tow a caravan or something, you probably want the diesel version as opposed to this petrol version. But it's a brilliant thing, like really nice thing to drive, decent MPG, decent performance. This one's got nearly 9 grand knocked off it. 34,165 is the RRP on it. This one's 25,390. It's the automatics, the petrols, the 1.5 TSI, which is a lovely little engine. FR trim again, so very well spec'd. 0 to 62 in 9 seconds, 148 brake horsepower and 42 mpg. Really a decent car. A Skoda Karoq is the sister or brother to that 𝙼𝙁𝙁𝙁 actually. 6 grand off one of those. This one's the manual petrol. It's 26,920 as opposed to 32,870. I'd probably go for the 𝙼𝙁𝙁 over the two. I think it's every bit as good a car. It's basically the same car. Cupra Formentor 1.5 ETSI Evo V1 DSG automatic should be 37 grand. Instead, it's 28 grand. That's a saving of £8,900. It's got the same engine in as that little 𝙼𝙁𝙁𝙁, so the numbers are largely the same on it. MPG is slightly better in this one because it's the ETSI, so it's a very mild hybrid. So just under 48 mpg in that one. Peugeot 308 1.6 GT E80 Euro 6. This is the plug-in hybrid version of the Peugeot 308. And I still think this is going to tank a load of money, despite having 15.5 grand knocked off it. And that's simply because the Stellantis pricing of new cars is hopeful at best at times. And this is definitely one of those cases, 100% one of those cases. 1.6 GT plug-in hybrid with a 12 kilowatt battery. So that claims 35 miles of all electric range, should be £43,630. You can get it for 28 after that 15.5 grand discount. Next, we've got a beautiful looking thing. It's the Alfa Romeo Tonale 1.5 VGT mild hybrid sprint dual clutch transmission. So that's fully automatic. 0% finance available on this as well. Save 8,261 quid. So it should be 36.5 grand and it's 28.5 instead. So petrol hybrid, not a plug-in. Fuel on that one is 49.6 mpg. That's what's claimed anyway. And it's just a good, stylish, mid-size SUV. You know, Alfa don't have an amazing record for reliability, do they? But at the end of the day, it's a brand new car with a brand new warranty. What's not to like? Cupra Leon is next. 2-litre TSI VZ1 DSG automatic. £32,000 as opposed to nearly £43,000. Great looking car. They go like stink. 0 to 62, 5.7 seconds on one of these. Basically a Golf R with a different lid on it. 37 mpg is claimed on that. And there we go. It's just a good looking thing. Dare I say, I prefer the look of that to the Golf. Yeah, I dare, and I just have. Should be nearly 43, instead it's nearly 32. VW ID3 Pro S Match Auto. This is the one with a big battery, so you've got 345 miles of range on this one. Brand new car, 8.2 seconds to 62. Decent range. They're not the most exciting things in the world. There are some really great used bargains around of these as well. But if you're after a new one, 6.5 grand off the new price is not too bad. Peugeot 5008 1.2 mild hybrid GT automatic, £36,695, which is an almost £8,000 discount. Big 7-seat car, 10.4 seconds to 62 on that one. And the MPG is 53. Oh, that's what they claim in anyway. Not a bad looking thing, actually. This one's all completely murdered out. So you're going to look like a bit of a gangster in your 1.2 litre big SUV. But £44,500 the asking price. Instead, it's getting on for 37. Alfa Romeo Giulia, one of my favourite cars, my favourite car in its class for sure. I think it's a beautiful car. They drive exquisitely. The interior's lovely. The best flappy paddles in the business, bar none. £46,295 is the RRP. You can get this one at the moment for just under 38. That's £8,400 off. It's the 𝙼𝙁𝙁𝙄𝙇𝙄𝑇. It's got the automatic gearbox, probably the right one to go for. 39.2 mpg. VW Passat. Now this is a plug-in hybrid that doesn't really compromise. This is a plug-in hybrid that makes sense, I think, and some of the others just don't for me. Passat R-Line 1.5 TSI e-hybrid, 272 PS of power, 6-speed automatic, 5 doors, cavernous estate car which you could fit your kids, next door neighbours' kids, and half a house in. 77 miles of all electric range, which is massively impressive. The boot's something like 700 litres, or certainly 600 plus. 706 mpg as well. I hate these plug-in hybrid figures. They are just daft. Obviously, you're not going to get anything like that. If you run the thing on electricity at all times, you're going to get infinite mpg. But if you let that battery completely run down, you're probably going to be getting 30s, early 30s on it, I would have thought, because obviously you're then tugging around a battery and electric motor as well as your petrol engine and your petrol tank. But if you keep it topped up, this car should serve you really, really well and be fairly frugal to run. That should be 52 grand, can you believe? Instead, we're looking at £38,210. Don't forget, on these cars that are over 40 grand, you're also going to have to pay luxury car tax, which kicks in from year 2 to 6 of the car's life. And indeed, if you buy one of these used, that's still going to exist for years 2 to 6 of the car's life. And that's over 400 quid a year. I've got a fascinating video about road tax coming up, or it might even be out by the time I release this, which will explain it all to you. But that's something else to factor in, you know. For years 2 to 6 of the car's life, you're going to be looking at £600 plus per year to tax it. On all electric cars, by the way, if you get it and register it before the 1st of April, you won't have that. But after the 1st of April, you'll also have that on fully electric cars. Right, the Jaguar I-Pace. There are loads of these around. You can't actually order a new one anymore, but you can buy a new one because they've got loads of them that they haven't yet sold. This car was £73,000. The RRP on the Jag I-Pace R-Dynamic SE Black, £73,000. And you can have your choice at the moment for £38,995. There are also some great lease deals available on them at the moment. Definitely not the most reliable of electric cars out there. What a surprise from Jaguar, eh? But great looking thing, really nice to drive. Performance in them is fairly lively, to say the least. And if you're in the market for one, you know, this is used money and you're getting a brand new car. 4.5 seconds to 62, 276 miles of range, £39,000 as opposed to 73 grand. BMW 2 Series, this one's the M235i automatic with xDrive. This is a fantastic car. It's a lovely thing to drive. £39,689 as opposed to 48.5. There's also an M2 coming up later in the video, so keep watching for that because there's a big discount on that. Nearly £9,000 discount on that car, and this one really does not disappoint. MPG's 39, and performance-wise, 0 to 62 in 4.9 seconds. So if you want that performance car, you want the 4 doors still, you know, so you want a little bit of practicality and perhaps have it fly under the radar a wee bit compared to the M2, this is definitely one to have a look at, and it's a lot cheaper as well. Good bang for your buck in this one, especially with nearly 9 grand knocked off it. BMW i4 eDrive 35 Sport, 303 miles of range on this one, available for immediate delivery, £43,295. It's got 10.5 grand knocked off it. Beautiful car, lovely, lovely car to drive, like exquisite thing to drive. 6 seconds to 62, save yourself 10.5 grand. BMW iX1, loads of money off this at the moment, 11.5 grand off to be precise, £51,881. Looks great in that paint scheme as well, I think. Not everyone likes a grey car, and I don't always, but I think that looks gorgeous. That really does look nice. Really good quality interior in these as well. Should be 63 grand, currently just under 52, saving of 11.5 grand, 270 miles of range, 0 to 62 in 5.6 seconds. Maserati Grecale 2-litre mild hybrid, 300 horsepower in this bad boy. Nice looking interior, and it's a Maserati, so it's not a bad looking thing. Huge boot, nice little clock in the dash there. You know, this feels a cut above. It feels like a very premium product. Again, reliability might be an issue, as it is with these things. 30 mpg performance, we're getting 0 to 62 in 5.6 seconds. That should be 71.5 grand. You can get it for 58 at the moment, which is a saving of 13.5 grand. Here is that M2, 64,240 quid as opposed to 75. Who'd have thought the day when you'd see the M2 at 75 grand? Well, we're here. Although you can get £11,100 off it right now. 0 to 62 in 4 seconds on this one. And just look at it. I mean, it's about as subtle as a punch in the face, but I think it's beautiful. I know a lot of people don't like the design of modern BMWs, but I think that's a really aggro, cool looking car. I love the wheel arches that stick out of the back. It just looks nice. 75 grand down to 64. That's a saving of 11. BMW 8 Series Grand Coupe. This is the 840i M Sport. You can get 21.5 grand off the RRP of one of these. 66 as opposed to 87.5. Then we've got the Audi Q8 3-litre TFSI E. Black Edition Tiptronic. This one is the plug-in hybrid. 49 miles of all-electric range is claimed on this one, and it's in Saphir Gold, and it's got the Tech Pack Pro on it, so it's fairly well loaded. This £96,715 is what that car should be. Instead, it's got 16.5 grand knocked off it. It's a shade under 80 grand. Instead, it's got over 16.5 grand knocked off it, and that brings it in a shade under 80. BMW 7 Series, just look at this thing. It's the 750e xDrive M Sport. It's got £34,000 knocked off it, £97,990, 49 miles of all-electric range. It's the plug-in hybrid, 0 to 62 in 4.8 seconds. It is your lounge or a first-class cabin on wheels. This thing will treat your buttocks and your back like precious cargo as it throws you down the road at a rate of knots. It's got all the tech in the world. It's just a lovely, lovely thing. Absolutely premium limousine of a car. 4.8 seconds to 62. Gorgeous. 34 grand knocked off that. And then finally, we've got the Audi RS6 Avant. So that should be 125.5 grand. Instead, you can get it for a mere £108,000. Saves you £17,000 off the RRP. It's got the RS design pack, red brakes, MPG. Who cares on a car like this? 0 to 62 in 3.4 seconds, saving of 17 grand. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed this one. Please go and support our sponsors for this one, Readly. Link is in the video description. That will give you 2 months free access to Readly. You can cancel at any time, no strings attached. I've used it for several years now. In fact, I was using it before they became a sponsor. So go and check it out and see if you like it. Thanks ever so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support. I really do appreciate it.